Cliff diving, a daring escapade by Bryce DeGood. We got back from our long day of working, and Ben, our youth leader, had an announcement to make. Alright, everyone, go get your swimsuits on, he said with a smile on his face. We are all going to go down to the river and go swimming. I figured you guys have had a hard week of building, so I thought why not give you guys a break. Swimming at the river? I've never felt so excited about swimming before. It had been a scorching week of 100-degree weather consistently. I ran to the guy's room and quick threw on my swimsuit and grabbed a towel. We all filed into the van in an excited rush of teenagers. After about a half hour of driving down a dirt road deep in the woods, we came to a clearing where some cars were parked. Everyone got out and looked around. Ben, I said questioningly, where is the river? It's about a half-mile down that path right there. He pointed to his right, and sure enough, there was a dirt path cluttered with roots, downed branches, and various shrubs. Ah! Everyone groaned. We were all ready just to get to the river. We grudgingly started off down the path. After about 15 minutes, we could hear the water gurgling over well-worn rocks. That made everyone start moving with a little more purpose. We were almost there. We rounded one more turn, and there it was. A slow-moving river that was about 20 feet wide. We took off our shirts and rushed into the water like a bunch of flies on honey. We realized our mistake too late. The constant flow of the river had smoothed the rocks and made them slippery. Sploosh. Not a single kid was spared from slipping into the river. Nobody really cared, though. The river was perfect temperature to be refreshing, but also bearable over long periods of time. After our accident, everyone was wary of walking on the rocks. Slowly, everyone gravitated downstream. Brett was the first one to see it, a rock sticking over the edge of a drop-off. It stood about 10 feet high with the drop-off. Everyone climbed up onto the rock and looked down. Casey, Brett's twin, was the first to jump. He stayed in the air for a good 3 seconds. I didn't want to get shown up, especially since Casey was always the first person to do everything. I quickly decided that the best way to one-up him would be to do a flip. I went to the edge and turned around so only my toes and a little bit of my foot was on the rock. I tensed up my legs and kicked off the rock. Simultaneously, I started to lean backwards. All I saw was a blur of black, blue, and white. All of a sudden, water slapped my feet, and the rest of my body quickly followed suit. Bubbles cascaded up all around me. I kicked my legs and swam to the surface. Everyone was clapping and cheering. Surely no one would be able to beat that. I swam over to the waterfall, which was the only way to get back up. I grabbed a hold of the slippery rocks and pulled myself up. As soon as I got up, I noticed Ben walking along a trail on the side of the river. He disappeared behind a grove of trees and reappeared on the other side about 30 feet above the water. There's no way he would jump off of that, I whispered to myself. I was wrong. He backed up, got a running start, and launched himself off of the cliff. Just to show off, he executed a perfect swan dive on the way down. He slipped into the water with nearly no splash at all. Alright, I'll admit it, I was pretty impressed. But there was no way that I was going to let Ben go unchallenged. I climbed up onto the cliff and looked down. That was a long way down. Right when I started having second thoughts about it, everyone started chanting my name. Bryce, Bryce, Bryce. They chanted louder and louder. Even random people that didn't know me started chanting. I couldn't chicken out at this point, but how was I going to beat Ben? It was then that I noticed a path that led even farther up above the river. I considered my options and figured why not. I climbed up and got onto the edge of the cliff. I looked down at the water. It had to be about 50 feet below me, but it looked more like 500. I have a fear of heights, and finally realized what I had gotten into. The only way out was to jump. If I climbed back down, I would look like a wimp in front of the whole youth group. I stood on the edge and jumped with all my strength. I had my eyes closed, but I could feel the wind ripping at my hands, feet, face, and hair. I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kerploosh! The water hit when I landed in it, but my adrenaline was pumping, and I didn't really notice it. I sunk like a rock from all the speed I had gotten. I kicked my feet and swam to the surface. I surfaced and everyone started screaming and chanting my name again. I felt like a hero, and all I did was conquer my fear. We were all pretty lucky considering that what we had just done and the fact that none of us had gotten hurt. If we had gotten hurt, it would have been a long walk back to the van before we could go anywhere. As I swam to the waterfall, I thought back to what I had just done and realized something. I was just taught a lesson. Even if something seems scary, you should face your fears, and who knows, maybe you'll have some fun. I never would have felt the rush of falling like that if I hadn't decided to face my fear of heights and jump off that cliff. Alright, here's my works cited. Got some backflip pictures, got some Ogmore Rivers from the New Inn Bridge, got a group of kids from Afghanistan, and I got a landscape. It was pretty fun finding these pictures. Got that Mitsubishi Delico van, some park from Japan in or China, somewhere in Asia. It's got some splash fluid mechanics going here. It's pretty sweet. Another Middle Easterner picture, the Swat River in Pakistan.